Yesterday I was lying in the grass fields in the middle of nowhere, gazing up into the stars, and a single thought came to my mind. If Spyro has a dragonfly, then why does milk evaporate when you turn the green side of a strawberry cake upside down in the freezer every Tuesday? Which brings me to today's video, where we're gonna paint this palette and we're gonna turn it into Venom. So for the tongue, I'm just gonna use regular old tinfoil, I guess it's called in English. I've never done it before, but I've seen Ace of Clay use tinfoil quite a lot in his videos, and it looks pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna kind of try and hope for the best. And right here, I'm just making a very generic form before I do the final shape. And I think I already am pretty satisfied with it, actually. Wow, I might make it a little bit longer, but other than that, I think this is a great start. So that's the tongue so far, and I think we're gonna start doing some shaping now. So obviously the tongue is coming out of the mouth, so I'm just gonna flatten the end to make kind of a 3D perspective. And you want to make sure to shape it according to the canvas. I'm speaking as if I've done this before, but you want to make it look like it's coming out of the actual mouth. Yeah, I think I like it. Now what I'm gonna do now is get the absolute thickest paint I can possibly find in my collection, which might take a little while, so I'm gonna skip over that part. And basically the plan is to, I guess, sculpt it with paint, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but it's worth a shot.
1 hour later.
Oh, so after going down to my basement, which is 6 flights of stairs, both up and down, well, down and up, left and...
1 eternity later.
Hit my hand, by the way, down there, but I managed to find these 3 paints right here. And if any of my paints are gonna be old and dry, it's gonna be one of these 3. So I'm gonna do a quick test. I think I'm just gonna open it, actually. Oh, please don't spill out. Oh wow, that's actually quite liquid. Did not expect that. Okay. Okay, what about this one? God, need to work out more. Oh, that is very thick. I like it. I think this is a winner, actually. Wow. I'm not even gonna test this one. It's not necessary. So, how am I gonna get it out though? I'm gonna put on my thinking cap. Maybe we'll just use a spoon, maybe? Okay, so I found my spoon fork thingy. Not even sure where I got it from. I wonder if I can... Oh my god, it's so thick I can use the fork. Look at that. Oh my god, that's perfect. And it doesn't really matter what color the paint is, because we're gonna, well, paint over it, so consistency really is the key factor here. Now, once again, I just want to point out I've never done this before, so I'm not quite sure how much paint to use. I think I'm gonna do one last scoop, and that's gonna be it for now. We can always take more later. It is not going anywhere. Not in my home. So we're gonna put this aside, and we're just gonna start smearing. Oh god, look at that. Ugh, good lord. Oh, that's gonna be a very gross tongue. But I mean, it is Venom, So, oh, that's gonna take forever to dry. Oh my god, that's gonna dry all night. I thought this was gonna be like a quick video to make. Nope. Don't think that's the case anymore. At this point I'm just massaging it in, and you want to make sure that you don't have any little cracks open, because that's gonna obviously break the tongue in two when it dries. Oh god, that's amazing. Oh, I took way too much paint. Wow, wowee. In hindsight, I think I probably should have smoothed out the tongue a bit more, but I don't think it's gonna make too big of a difference. But if I do this again, that's certainly something to remember. Oh my god, I love this. I think I'm gonna call it there. And maybe smooth out the edges a little bit, but I'm gonna place it right here and look back on how it looks tomorrow. Oh god, this is such a mess. Why did I do this? Now, while the tongue is drying behind me, which is a very strange sentence, we might as well do some more work tonight before I go to bed and paint the actual palette black. And once again, I'm not going to be shy about using paint. Oh god, you hear the sound? I swear to god, that is the paint, not me. And there's not really any rhyme or reason to this. We're just going to paint it black completely. And then once it's dry, we're going to add some blue. Some very, very dark blue dry brushing for some highlights, but that is in the end of the process. Oh god, I think this is gonna look really cool. Oh my god, look at that. I mean, if that doesn't look like a symbiote, then I don't know what does. Jeez Louise. That looks so cool. Oh, I really like this. And right now I'm just making some very, very light texture with the brush. We want Venom to look as symbiotic as possible. So the more texture you can get out of this canvas, the better. You don't want him to be very smooth, because he has all these different gooey symbiotic particles coming out of him all the time. He's really gross. Kind of sexy too. I think that is all the steps I'm gonna be able to do tonight while it dries, so tomorrow I will continue first thing when I wake up. So see you in a bit. Okay, so went on Google and I just typed in Venom eyes, and I just picked the first picture, scaled it down to size, and quickly traced it onto the canvas. And it's beginning to look like Venom now, actually, already. At least in my opinion. But for the next step, I'm just gonna add one last layer of black paint, get a little bit more texture, and after that he should be ready to go for some blue dry brush. It's the paint, not me! Delicious. I'm just gonna paint the borders here as well, and one coat should be sufficient enough. Oh god, please don't get paint on my scissor shirt. I really like that one. Yeah, that should be it. Food. Me only you. dancers may be on the floor. So the dark paint is almost dried up, and I think we can begin to dry brush some slight blue onto the texture that we created earlier. And to do that, I have this dark Russian blue right here. Now, I usually prefer to use these very stiff brushes when I dry brush, but you can use any brush at all. Whatever works for you, really. Now, the way you dry brush is you just put a little bit of paint onto the brush, not necessarily too much, and then you take something to wipe it off with. And it just so happens that by sheer coincidence, I have some toilet paper right here next to my computer. Oh wow, I'm looking at the camera right now on my computer screen, and the blue is showing up really bright on the actual recording, but in real life I can barely see it. That's kind of strange. I think I'm just gonna take a lighter blue and do the same thing. Got some more toilet paper here. Oh yeah. Oh, that's way better. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Oh, I like this one. You know what? I think I'm just gonna go really overboard with the light blue here. And if it turns out bad, we can always paint it over. It is okay to experiment and go a little nuts sometimes. Oh wow. Well, that's very bright. Wherever you think look cool. Oh, maybe up here a little bit, just to the eyes. Oh yeah. Oh wow, that looks awesome. Oh, I like this. I didn't think I would, but I really do. Oh my god, look at that. Oh my god, I'm so glad I did this. This looks really cool. Oh my god. Oh, nice. I love it. I am way too excited over this. I really need a hobby or something. Okay, so I am considering doing something a little crazy, and I want to take a white paint and dry brush. Not a lot, just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of snazz, if you will. And we can just take some of the white that we used for the tongue. That is completely fine. Again, take as much off as you can. Very light. I think that's actually too much. Oh yeah, here we go. And I'm gonna be a bit more tactful about this and control where I want to put it rather than just splat it all over the place. And I'm just using the white here where all the indentations are. Oh, this looks so cool. I can't wait till it's done. Oh, look how veiny it is.
That's what she said.
Dry brushing is so cool. It really is. Whenever I watch Ace of Clay and he dry brushes his sculptures, I'm like, oh my god, how is he doing that? But he really isn't. It's the texture that does everything. It's so cool. It's really fascinating, and it's so simple. But man, oh, dry brushing can make anything look cool. Now, Venom is always smiling, so I want to do some quick dry brushing wrinkles, just very faint, just enough to give the illusion of the impression of him smiling. And I probably should have used a thinner brush for this, but oh well. And I think now we're just gonna start to paint the eyes, and we're just gonna use the same white. I'm gonna use a different brush because this one is no good for that purpose. But it's essentially the same color scheme as the rest, except opposite. So instead of black on white, it's white on black. And a little bit of blue. Yes. So I'm just gonna go in with my white here, and I hope this white is not too thick. Oh my god, it really is thick. I guess it's alright. This is a very big brush. I think I'm gonna switch it out for another one. Yeah, I'm gonna switch this out. Give me a sec. Right, I am back and I have a new brush. So this kinda, I don't know what to call it, but obviously none of this is intentional. This used to be my palette, so all of these indentations and what's the opposite of indentation? Outdentation? What? But all of these are not intentional. They were just randomly on the palette when I used it as a palette. Yeah, but as I was about to say, this thing right here, I'm not gonna paint over it. At first, that was my plan, but I don't know, I think that would look kind of weird. So I think I'm just gonna work with it and consider it a happy little accident, as Bob Ross says. So this is basically just gonna be some symbiote stuff coming up. And I think it's gonna look pretty cool. Right now I'm not worrying about the details too much. I'm gonna do the details like these two bits right here and these little things that goes up. I'm gonna go over that in the end with a smaller brush, like a fine detail brush. That's it, I think, for now. And right now I'm just gonna use this finer brush for the last details. So while it is still wet, I am going to go in with a little bit of blue, and I'm just gonna make some shadows. So the light source is from over here. That's where I dry brushed from, which means that you want the shadows to be on this side of the eye. And it looks a bit intense right now, but we're gonna tone it down in a bit. So what I just did now was that I went and put some water on the brush so it's really clean now, and I'm gonna take advantage of that water by just pulling the blue that we put down to soften it out a little bit, make it look real nice. And using water like this can be a really effective way of creating some soft transitions from shadow to light. I've actually never done it before, but it works surprisingly well. Just turned off my lights because it was a bit blinding, but you can kind of see in the shadow here that I created some, I guess you can call it gradient with the blue, and it's transitioning into the white. It doesn't show up too well on video. And what I'm doing right now is that I'm gonna go in with a, as you can see, big brush pen, and every single place where there's highlights, I'm gonna go to the opposite side and make some shadows. And you don't need to do this, but this is just me being a little bit extra to make it pop a little more. And you don't want to go too overboard. Just the impression of shadows like that. And this is gonna take a while, so if you don't have the patience for it, which to be quite honest, I really don't, then you don't have to do it. It is not necessary at all. I'm not gonna lie though, it does look cool. as I said before, you don't have to do this with every single highlight, but I do recommend that you do it with the just above the eyes here to get rid of the white overlaps. And this is just so you create kind of like the illusion that he has eyelids, and it just makes it a bit more realistic to look at. Now that the eyes are dry, I'm gonna go in with a dark blue Posca pen, and I'm gonna make some highlights right here in the edge of the eyes. So nothing too overbearing, but just enough to give it a cool little effect. You want to be very careful not to put down too much. This is just a very light effect. That looks pretty cool. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the eye, but with a white marker instead. Just gonna make some quick, very light little blobs over here as well. And when you're working with Poscas, don't be scared to use your fingers. You can make some really cool effects just by dabbing and swiping. You know, as I said before, don't be scared to experiment. So for now anyway, I think that looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna do anything to it. I wanna make the tongue, and then I'll see if I wanna add anything to it. And the base coat of the tongue is pretty much done at this point. Now it's just gonna dry and we'll take it from there. So the tongue is completely dry, which means that the only thing to do now is just paint it. And for the base coat of the tongue, I want a very dark, I almost said very dark bright red. It makes no sense. I want a very dark red. So we're just gonna put some red paint down and a little, not too much. We still want it to be red after all. A little squeeze of black. There we go. Might need a bit more, we'll see. And this is just the base coat. So we're gonna paint it lighter and lighter and lighter with some dry brushing. And then in the end, we're gonna give it a quick wash. So I gave the tongue 3 layers of dark red paint, and now we're just gonna go in with a light pink one and dry brush that on. And that is gray. That's not what I wanted. I needed a white. There we go. And you really want to get as much paint off the brush as possible when you dry brush. It has to be, well, almost dry, hence the name. There we go. Oh, that is lovely. Oh wow, oh it's really coming to life. Yo, oh my god, I know I said it earlier, but I'm so fascinated with dry brushing. Oh my god, look at that. I love it, so cool. This is gonna turn out much better than I had anticipated. This is freaking cool, yo. Ugh, it looks so gross. I love it. Now I'm just dry brushing the backside as well, You don't have to, it's not really gonna be seen, but might as well do it all over the place. I always say if it doesn't bother anyone, you might as well do it. Now I'm just going to take a completely white paint and do the same thing. But I am only going to do it on the side of the tongue where the light is coming from. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is so cool. And there you go. The dry brush is complete. At this point, we just need a quick wash, and that should be it. Now, normally when you do a wash, you use black to fill out all the colors of your sculpture. But since this is a tongue, I don't really need to fill out the shadows. What I want to do is use a dark purple color to indicate basically, I guess, saliva, like really gooey alien spit. I think it's gonna look pretty cool, at least if I picture it right in my mind. It's kind of a 50-50 at this point because I've never really done anything like this before, so it's a lot of experimentation, but hopefully it's gonna look really cool. I'm just adding one drop at a time to get the perfect color, and I think I'm almost there. A little bit more red. I really want it to be purple. Oh, that was a lot. Okay, hopefully that doesn't matter too much. Oh, I actually think I like this color. Yeah, this is fine. Alrighty. If this was in 2020, people would be hating me right now. Time to do the wash. Ooh, look at that. Oh yeah, that's so cool. I love it. Oh my god. And I actually have Ace of Clay to thank for this technique. I didn't know about this until I started watching him. So seriously, if you like sculpting and clay stuff, I can highly recommend Ace of Clay. He is a master. Alright, so now that the tongue is, almost dry, it is just time to glue it on. And oh, look at that. That looks really cool. Now I need to, oh, like that. I think something like that. Right there. Insane. Oh, come on. Well, that stinks. Oh, really? That sucks. Yeah, okay. Why does this always happen to me? Oh, I can't even fix it because I'm colorblind. Oh god, what do I do? Add more blue maybe? Maybe this color? Oh god, why did this have to happen? Hi, maybe a bit more red. Something bad always has to happen near the end. It just has to. Oh my fucking god. So just before I made a tiny little boo-boo and I just fixed it by covering it as well as a few other places with some purple paint. So now I just have to do another quick dry brush to fix my mistakes. But apart from that, it's actually done. And here is the final product. Pretty cool, eh?